Here we're given the graph of f of x, and we want to figure out which of these three graphs is f double prime of x. Notice that I've marked off x equals 3 here because something special happens on this graph around x equals 3, namely that initially the graph is concave down. I can tell you that because I put two dots above the graph and I see what looks to be like a frowny face. So the value of the second derivative here, f double prime, will be negative. Now, after x equals 3, if I put two dots above the graph, notice it looks like a smile. And because of that, this value of the second derivative will be positive. So something happens at x equals 3, namely that it's neither concave up or concave down. Because if I put two dots, I get kind of a flat face. I get a face that looks like this. And because it's not a frown nor a smile, it's at a point where f double prime here is equal to 0. So using this information, we can pick out our graph. We want a second derivative graph that is initially negative. Then we want a second derivative graph that is initially, or not initially, but 0 at x equals 3, and then becomes positive after x equals 3. This graph doesn't cut it because it's first off positive, then it's negative. So this doesn't work. This graph doesn't work because it too also starts out positive when it really should start out negative. So this doesn't work. This graph starts out negative until it hits x equals 3, where we know the second derivative is 0, and then after x equals 3 it becomes positive, which is fine because we know the second derivative is positive to the right of x equals 3, meaning this guy must be our answer.